Okay, so welcome everyone to your evening meditation. Just giving yourself a gift of the next half an hour or so as time out, going somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed for the next half an hour. So just put your phone on mute or silent, sitting comfortably somewhere, feet shoulder width apart. Just cup your hands in your lap. Keep your back straight. Make sure you're comfortable. Close your eyes and start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing into the lower stomach, pushing the belly button out. Second phase of the breath into the heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. Just bringing your attention completely into the present moment. Through the breath, just by watching the subtle sensations of the breath, squeeze the sphincter muscle. That's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine. Squeeze the last drops out. That locks the energy in. And it also creates a pumping action. So you pump this warm, tingling sensation, this life energy up the spine, simultaneously draw it up the spine with the breath, into your heart center, your upper chest, your upper back, and then draw it all the way up into the crown of your head. Take another sip of air in, pause at the top of the inhale. Just feel that life energy rising up the spine to the crown of your head. Take another sip of air in at the top. It's a maximal inhale breath. Just pause at the top of the inhale. Smile. And now just check in with your mind. So just scanning your mind and noticing any thoughts and emotions going on there. Particularly anything related to physical pains, illnesses, ailments. Maybe there's a fear of some kind of disease. There's a lot of that been going around this year. The coronavirus. Today's meditation is all about healing and sickness. So just notice those thoughts, notice the emotions, notice how that makes you feel physically, and just breathe into all of that. Just take another nice sip of air in. Just create some space, some light around the feelings. And you might find that they start dissipating a little bit. Even physical sensations dissipate when you bring the light of your awareness into them. So imagine you breathing the light into your stomach, into your heart center, into your upper chest, into any areas of your body that are tight, tense, painful, areas of weakness. And just feel the light coming in and dissipating that darkness. And now you're just going to choose to let it all go, at least for the next 20 minutes. As you exhale, just blowing it all out. Your breath, imagine it's like dark gray or black smoke just leaving you. Blowing it all out, the wind of your breath. To restore your mind to its true state, which is just peaceful, empty, open, spacious awareness. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And then just pause at the bottom of the exhale. Connect with the stillness and the peace. Come in the gap between breaths. Smile and then breathe in again. So nice deep breath in through the nose. Notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Squeeze the sphincter muscle, feel that life energy, this warm tingling thread of energy drawing up the spine into the crown of your head. Just pause at the top of the inhale. Smile. Finding a nice, calm, empty, open, spacious awareness arising in your mind. And then, you just exhale, letting it all go. Air flows out of your nostrils, the chest and the stomach. Just suck back in. And you feel that energy subsiding back down from the crown of your head, down the front channel of your body. It's like a wave just breaking back into the ocean. Sigh it all out. Come to rest at the bottom of the exhale. Pause, smile. Connect with the peace and stillness and the sort of gap between your breaths. And then you breathe in again. So breathing in. Notice how the stomach rises, chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, air flowing into the nostrils, energy rising up to the crown of your head. Pause, smile. And then exhale, sigh it all out. Notice the air flowing out of your nostrils. Sighing sound in the back of your throat, chest and stomach. Suck back in. And just come to rest. In peace and stillness, the bottom of the exhale. And then repeat the cycle. So just step back and really just watch your breath. Nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still. The next 20 minutes or so. Just allowing the breath to take you deeper and deeper into this lovely, peaceful, calm, relaxed state of mind. Keep watching your breath to keep your mind nice and still, calm, empty, open, but aware. And you just kind of listen to these words, allow them to just permeate into your awareness, to sink in to a deeper part of your mind, your subconscious mind, which is where they're needed to undo the ego's default thought system. Sin, guilt, fear, and attack. So it's all about healing. It's from section 5 of the Manual for Teachers. So if there's any area in your life that needs healing, it doesn't necessarily mean physical, it's emotional healing. Really, all healing is in the mind. It's about healing of negative thoughts and emotions, and then that has a physical effect. Just allow these words to sink in on a deeper level. Feel them with your heart. Keep one hand on your heart center. Connect in with your heart presence. As you keep watching your breath, to keep your mind nice and still, calm, empty, open, but aware. And listen to these words and feel their energy, the emotion of them, rather than just listening intellectually, because that's what it's really about. Contemplation is about feeling the power, the energy, the truth of these words. And then these higher emotions of love, peace, joy arise. So, having said all that, keep watching the breath. Just going to read these few paragraphs. And how is healing accomplished? This is the question. So let's hear what Jesus has to say in response to that question. So he says healing involves an understanding of what the illusion of sickness is for. Healing is impossible without this. When we go into section 1, which is the perceived purpose of sickness. So healing is accomplished the instant the sufferer no longer sees any value in pain. Who would choose suffering unless he thought it brought him something, and something of value to him? He must think it is a small price to pay for something of greater worth. For sickness is an election, a decision. It is the choice of weakness and a mistaken conviction that it is strength. When this occurs, real strength is seen as threat and health as danger. Sickness is a method conceived in madness for placing God's Son, or love's extension, on his Father's throne. So we usurped the power of God, and we decided we didn't want love anymore. We wanted to have our own identity and our own reality instead. God is seen, or love is seen, as outside, fierce and powerful, eager to keep all power for himself. Only by his death can he be conquered by his Son. This is the insanity of the ego. A death wish, the wish that God and love could die, to leave you on your own in a world of illusion. Fear and hatred and attack and death as your companions, and sickness. And what in this insane conviction does healing stand for? It symbolizes the defeat of God's Son, of love's extension, and the triumph of his Father over him. It represents the ultimate defiance in a direct form which the Son of God is forced to recognize. It stands for all that he would hide from himself to protect his, quote, life. If he is healed, he is responsible for his thoughts. And if he is responsible for his thoughts, he will be killed to prove to him how weak and pitiful he is. But if he chooses death himself, his weakness is his strength. Now has he given himself what God would give to him, and thus entirely usurped the throne of his Creator. So this is the perceived purpose of sickness. None of it makes any sense, of course. It's all insane. But it's very useful to understand the insanity of the ego if you're going to undo it. We've decided that sickness is a necessary defense against the truth of love. And we choose sickness, not consciously, but subconsciously. Sickness and pain and suffering and death are our choice when we deny love. So keep watching your breath, staying nice and still, calm, empty, open, but aware, just listening in this very aware state to the underlying meaning of the words. That's really what's important, the meaning and the feeling that they evoke in you. So let's move on to part 2 of this, which is the shift in perception. So healing must occur in exact proportion to which the valuelessness of sickness is recognized. I need but say there is no gain at all to me in this. And he is healed. But to say this, one must first recognize certain facts. First, it is obvious that decisions are of the mind, not of the body. If sickness is but a faulty problem-solving approach, it is a decision. And if it is a decision, it is the mind and not the body that makes it. The resistance to recognizing this is enormous, because the existence of the world, as you perceive it, depends on the body being the decision maker. Terms like instincts, quote, reflexes, and the like represent attempts to endow the body with non-mental motivators. Actually, such terms merely state or describe the problem. They do not answer it. Just pause, reflect on all of this. Keep watching your breath, staying nice and still, calm, empty, open, but aware. If any thoughts arise, any emotions get triggered by this, just watch them. Same way as you're watching your breath, very calm, detached way. And just imagine they're like cloud patterns drifting by in the sky. You can become aware of them and then they just drift away. To keep you connected to your source, eternally serene sky, which is your true awareness. So listen to these profound words with that awareness. So the acceptance of sickness as a decision of the mind for a purpose for which it would use the body is the basis of healing. And this is so for healing in all forms. The patient decides that this is so, and he recovers. If he decides against recovery, he will not be healed. Who is the physician? Only the mind of the patient himself. The outcome is what he decides that it is. Special agents seem to be ministering to him, yet they but give form to his own choice. And these special agents abound in this world. All kinds of treatments, medical treatments, pills, potions, operations. I think we need, but they just give form to our own choice. He chooses them in order to bring tangible form to his desires. And it is this they do and nothing else. Now, not action needed at all. Patients could merely rise up without their aid and say, I have no use for this. There is no form of sickness that would not be cured at once. Just pause there. It's a very profound statement. You might find yourself doubting this because your experience tells you otherwise. Remember, your experience is the ego's experience. And it's designed to confirm the world of the ego, which is very invested in sickness. So what is the single requisite for this shift in perception from sickness to cure? It is simply this: recognition that sickness is of the mind and has nothing to do with the body. It's a very important point, that recognition, that recognition means rethinking. That sickness is of the mind and has nothing to do with the body. It's a mental condition. What does this recognition cost? Quote, cost. It costs the whole world, you see. For the world will never again appear to rule the mind. For with this recognition is responsibility placed where it belongs, not with the world, but on him who looks on the world and sees it as it is not. He looks on what he chooses to see, no more and no less. The world does nothing to him. He only thought it did. Guilt. So nor does he do anything to the world because he was mistaken about what it is. Herein is the release from guilt and sickness both, for they are one. Yet to accept this release, the insignificance of the body must be an acceptable idea. And with this idea is pain forever gone. So just breathing in this nice life energy, this presence. Be willing to look at any pain, emotional pain, physical pain, psychological pain. Just notice the thoughts, notice the emotions, notice the physical feelings. Say, with this idea goes all confusion about creation. Does not this follow of necessity, asks Jesus? Place cause and effect in their true sequence in one respect, and the learning will generalize and transform the world. Transfer value of one true idea has no end or limit. The final outcome of this lesson is the remembrance of God, remembrance of this eternal loving presence we call God. What do guilt and sickness, pain and disaster, and all suffering mean now? Having no purpose, they are gone. And with them also go all the effects they seem to cause. Cause and effects but replicate creation. Seen in their proper perspective without distortion and without fear, they re-establish heaven. So just pause there. Just reflect on that. And now let's move into the final section, section 3, on the function of the teacher of God and the teacher of love. So, what's the function of the teacher of God in healing? If the patient must change his mind in order to be healed, what does the teacher of God do? Can he change the patient's mind for him? Certainly not. For those already willing to change their minds, he has no function except to rejoice with them, for they have become teachers of God, teachers of love with him. He has, however, a more specific function for those who do not understand what healing is. These patients do not realize they have chosen sickness. On the contrary, they believe that sickness has chosen them. Nor are they open-minded on this point. The body tells them what to do and they obey. They have no idea how insane this concept is. If they even suspected it, they would be healed. Yet they suspect nothing. To them, the separation is quite real. And to them, God's teachers come to represent another choice which they had forgotten. Simple presence of the teacher of God is a reminder. His thoughts ask for the right to question what the patient has accepted as true. As God's messengers, his teachers are the symbols of salvation. They ask the patient for forgiveness for God's Son in his own name. They stand for the alternative, the capital A. With God's word, with love's word in their minds, they come in benediction, not to heal the sick, but to remind them of the remedy God or love has already given them. It is not their hands that heal. It is not their voice that speaks the word of God. They merely give what has been given them. Very gently they call to their brothers to turn away from death. Behold you, Son of God, what life can offer you. Would you choose sickness in place of this? So ask yourself that question. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in this beautiful golden and white light into the stomach, the heart center. Squeeze the sphincter muscle, draw this light like a column of golden and white light up the spine, cresting in the crown of your head. Your whole body, every pore, every cell, every muscle is infused with this golden or white light. And in this light, just look at any choice for sickness that remains. Any physical condition in your life that's causing you pain. Any fear or anxiety, depression, anger, really focusing on the emotions that go with this, because it's really a sick mind. The body is just a reflection of a sick mind. Feel like you're breathing the light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every corner of your mind, every fiber of your being. And in the light, no sickness, no darkness is possible. And so now as you exhale, just blowing it all out, letting it all go. Dark, grey or black smoke out of your mouth. Breathing it all out. Finding some stillness. Sinking in. So you listen to this last paragraph of the reading. So not once do the advanced teachers of God or love consider the forms of sickness in which their brother believes. To do this is to forget that all of them have the same purpose and therefore are not really different. They seek for God's voice in his brother, who would so deceive himself as to believe God's Son can suffer. And they remind him that he did not make himself. He must remain as God. His eternal loving presence created him. They recognize illusions can have no effect. Truth in their minds reaches out to the truth in the minds of their brothers, so that illusions are not reinforced. They are thus brought to truth. Truth is not brought to them. And so are they dispelled. Not by the will of another, but by the union of the one will with itself. And this is the function of God's teachers, to see no will as separate from their own. All theirs is separate from God's. And so just sink in a couple of minutes of silence to close the meditation into this place in your mind where you're healed, where the separation is over. There's no belief in it anymore. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about for the next 2 minutes of silence. Just breathe, relax, be still. Sink into this place of healing, of light in your mind. You can imagine breathing in the light, intensifying it as you hold the breath briefly. As you exhale, extending the light. So sink into the light for the next 2 minutes of silence. When any thoughts arise to seemingly disturb this tranquil presence, this healing light, notice them. Imagine they're like dark clouds just drifting by in the sky. They have no power to obscure the eternal light of the sun, which is your source, the source of all healing. So just sigh them all away, blow them away with the wind of your breath. Imagine they're like dark clouds just leaving your mind, you sink back into the light, into this eternally peaceful, serene sky of your true awareness for another minute of silence. And so just gently coming back into an awareness of the body, the world. On the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So breathing in, nice deep breath in. Same way we entered the meditation and what's guided us through it, we come out using the breath. Notice the stomach rise, the chest rise, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just pause at the top of the inhale, smile. Notice that this healing presence, this light is still very much there. Set the intention to stay in it, stay connected to it for the rest of the evening. And just exhale, sigh it all out. And exhale. And the airflow out of your nostrils, the chest and the stomach suck back in. Make the sighing sound in the back of the throat. Energy subsides back down, like a wave just breaking back into the ocean. Coming to rest in the lower stomach, in the groin, buttocks. So that's 1, 2. While your attention is down there, just noticing the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Notice what else you're feeling and touching with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air on your skin. As you breathe in, notice the smell in your nose. Maybe there's a slight taste in your mouth. And just notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Without any judgment. Just notice the sounds, they arise, subside, or they just continue. I can hear a water fountain. It's continuous. For a while anyway, nothing really always lasts. And anything else that's arising for you, just notice it without any judgment. So there's no mental interpretation or commentary on any of these sounds. Just allow them to be. And by doing that, keep your mind in this light, clear, healed state. It is judgment that leads to sickness and death. So non-judgmental perception is the key to life, otherwise known as forgiveness, key to life. So smile at that thought, and on the count of three, gently open your eyes, look around, just noticing the various objects surrounding you. So whatever happens to be in the environment, just notice it, again without any judgment. Your eyes just rest randomly on, say, half a dozen objects for 2 or 3 seconds and then move on. Make no attempt to name them, label them. There's no interpretation. So you're training your mind to stay rooted in this non-judgmental presence, which is what I wish you stay in for the rest of the evening. So thank you for listening, and I hope this has helped you to understand and feel into what healing really means. Healing is never about physical healing, although that might be a result of mental and emotional healing. It's about the healing of the mind, healing of split mind, of separation, idea of separation, a separate identity, the ego. And when you let those ideas go, then you're truly healed. So I hope this has helped you on your journey of doing that, because it is a journey. And wish you much love, peace, and healing. Thank you for listening. Namaste, which means the divine healing, the healing light in me, acknowledges and honors that same healing light in you.